Hello guys and girls, and welcome to part 11 of Project Mercury. I previously covered what radios are going into the Rack 3. This one shows you how to set up your RS-918 if you're using that radio to enable you to use digital modes such as FT8, JSA call, or FLIGI. Any of the digital modes, this is the settings that you require. The first thing to note is do not plug in your USB cable, ensuring it's a data cable by the way, before switching on the radio, because it won't happen. Make sure that the data cable is unplugged and switch on your radio. Ensure that you have a really good, this is quite a thick data cable with a trapezoid end to it. Just once your radio is switched on, just connect it up and you should be fine. Whatever gets it in the hole, there we go. Right, there's a couple of settings to make before you move on any further. And the first one to do is to go into the menu by pressing the menu button and go into the standard menu and show that. And what you want to ensure is digital modes are on. That's all you have to do. You can then hide that, save it if it's required, and exit your menu. The second thing you do is you have to ensure that the microphone is switched from microphone to a digital external. So because you want the digital modes and not the front microphone. So short press the RIT switch and it'll take it down to the microphone. Then long press each time the RIT switch till it changes to dig external. There we go, dig external. Now, in this box here, using the mode switch, you can either have USB or digital V set. I'm got it set on digital V. Then you're already set up, put it on an FT8 frequency. It doesn't matter what one it is. The band's actually rubbish today, so let's see how far we get with it. So they're the only settings that you have to make on the radio. What you have to remember is these RS-918s work on a computer speed or on a speed of 38,400, and you will require that. And the next step is obviously setting up either WS-JTX or JTDX with all the settings for the radio. And that's what we're going to do now. So the first thing you need to know is what computer port your radio is actually using. It's very simple to find out. Just unplug your data lead from the radio and you will see that when I go down to ports, one has lost off. I happen to know it's port 3. So if I plug it in again, it should come up with port 3. So go down to ports, COM port 3. There we go, USB serial device. So you can actually come out of there now. Well, you can't, because you have to go into properties of your COM port, go to port settings and ensure that your bits per second is set to 38,400, which is the same as the radio. You don't need to alter anything else. That should be 8, none, and 1. There we go. So that's your USB port all set up. So you can quite happily, remembering it's COM3, close that down. You can then open JTDX or WS-JTDX, WS-JTX if you prefer to use that one. and go into File and Settings. Now you've already set up your initial page there with your call sign and your locator, etc. If you go into Audio, the audio that you select on both sides is Microphone USB Interface MCHF, and that's done for the microphone and the speakers. It will be listed in your drop-down box. Then you're required to go to Radio, and the one you are required to select is other people selected from radios, but this is the one I've proven to work, and it's called Monka, MONKA, MCHF QRP, and it's got a pole interval of 1 second, which is what we require. Your serial port, as we remember, is COM3. Change your baud rate to 38400. Leave the others as selected, default, and default. Over on the right-hand side, select CAT. And that's why you require a data lead, a data USB trapezoid data USB lead into it. And leave the other settings as they are. Transmit audio you don't touch. Leave the mode and the split operation to none as required. You can then click your test cat and it should come up nice and green. There we go. And if you test your PTT, it should turn red. There we go. And we're transmitting. I'll just come off that. So that is everything that you require. So you can close those settings now. As you can see on the receive, I'm afraid the conditions aren't very good today, guys. I'm on 18100 and it's not very good at all there. But I am receiving stations on JTDX, so you know your receive's working absolutely fine there. So you'll need to obviously adjust your power, whatever you're doing there, to go out and do your tune button. There is a tune button on the RS-918, which I'm about to press. And come off it. And obviously you're all ready to go on JTDX, and it should work first time. So if I enable TX about now, on the next cycle after this one, it should send out my CQ. There we go. And if we look at the radio, it is transmitting. And at the end of the cycle, it obviously cuts off and goes back into receive mode. So you're all working. And that's as simple as it needs to be. It actually took me about 4 hours to work out what settings I needed to change on the radio in the menus. But they're the only settings you need to do, guys. And hopefully, if the bands are nice and open, you should make some QSOs. I made one, I think, after the third CQ. I'm going to halt it now. So I've come off the transmit, the automatic transmit. But as you can see, all the stations are being received, although the bands are absolutely rubbish today. And it's working fine. I found the radio does not heat up. If you've calibrated your radio, calibrated your frequency, everything should work correct. And just to check, you can go on to PSK Reporter, which is what I will do. Choose PSK Reporter. Choose my call sign, of course. If I can get it right on the screen. and select the last 15 minutes or so, 30 minutes, whatever, and just check that I'm going out. There we go. I didn't give it long enough for the transmit side to actually come back to me, but there you go. I'm receiving all those stations there. I could go on and just transmit. You on the radio, ensure you've selected whatever power you want, and I've just looked at mine. And on the radio at the moment, oh dear, I'm going out with 1 watt. So let's put the PA up to, I'll put it up to full on mine. There we go. That's the setting is now full by pressing your power switch on the radio. So let's go back. We'll look at my tuner and power amplifier this time as well. I will minimize the screen, go back to JTDX, and I think you can see the power amplifier there. That's about as close as I can get at the moment, guys. And we'll go into transmit mode. So the next cycle I should transmit, and you should see the ATU and the power amplifier tuning. There we go. So I've got an SWR of 1.12. Actual going out to the antenna is 37 watts. Oh dear me, that's far too much power for me, isn't it, as an M6? But there we go, that's what's actually hitting the antenna. So it's going through the power amplifier at 40 something before tuning. I'll just check on the next transmit. Yeah, 44.4, but hitting the antenna at 36 watts. And it is actually transmitting. There we go. We'll see. We'll leave it transmit for one more go around there, guys, and we'll see if any stations have heard me on the PSK reporter. That might take a minute or two to come through. So I'll halt it after the next one. As I said, I'm not going to have people coming straight back to me because the bands are absolutely rubbish. So if I hold that, let's go back to PSK reporter and see if any are showing yet. No, not yet. We'll give it a minute or two there and see what happens. So as you can see now, after just those 3 transmissions, stations, I am going out and stations are beginning to hear me on the system there. Let's do another quick refresh. Yeah, nobody else yet. And so I've proved it working. Stations are hearing me. If we just pick up on one there, heard in the Czech Republic at minus 25 dB. The Republic of Germany, minus 16. Obviously, the bands are absolutely rubbish today, but I've proved it working. Hope you've enjoyed that little tutorial. This is all a follow-on from Project Mercury, episode 10. Thank you.